I have seen the effect of abortion in a teenage girl. This particular girl was 13 at the time she aborted. Apparently, she was pregnant with twins. Unfortunately, it came with a lot of complications. She couldn't further with her studies. According to PubMed, 70% of hospitalization due to unsafe abortion are among girls below the age of 20 years. So, it is imperative for us to discuss abortion among teen girls. Joining me on today's episode is Dr. Adepoju. She's a medical doctor and a public health enthusiast. She currently works with Lagos State Primary Health Care. I have a wonderful guest here with me. As earlier stated, her name is Dr. Adepoju. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for accepting my request. Yes, so today we want to talk on abortion among teen girls. So for the teenage girls out there, I want them to understand what abortion is in a layman's language, in a very, very simple way. What is abortion?
Okay, medically and simply put too, abortion is the termination of pregnancy before the age of viability. And in our own environment in Africa, in Nigeria, the age of viability is put at 28 weeks of gestation. So any termination of pregnancy, whether induced or spontaneous, is what is referred to as abortion. So just like I mentioned in this definition, we have different types of abortion. We have the spontaneous abortion. That is the one that comes by itself, probably due to some things going on with the pregnancy that are not so, palatable, and the body just pushes out the pregnancy on its own. So it's spontaneous. It's not the person that wants it to happen. While the other one is voluntary or induced. That means the person carrying the pregnancy doesn't want the pregnancy to stay and does a thing or the other to get rid of the pregnancy. So I'm sure in this context is the voluntary abortion we are talking about, right? Okay. Yes. We also have the kind of abortion that is indicated medically. For instance, if you have a patient whose pregnancy is going to be posing a risk to her health, it can be advised, yes, by the medical practitioners that such pregnancy should be terminated.
Okay.
But that would be after weighing the risk and benefits before such decisions can be made.
Okay. In your years of experience as a doctor, have you by any chance seen a teen girl walk to your hospital, or from your colleagues, your colleagues giving you feedback from what they experienced from a teen girl, a teen girl coming into the clinic or hospital and saying, I want to have a voluntary abortion?
Yes, I have.
Really?
I've seen girls come into the hospital to say they want. I've seen girls that have had it before. I've seen girls that have had it and had complications. And I've also seen some that had it and there was no problem. They just mentioned it in passing. Maybe time they are booking for antenatal when they are now ready for the pregnancy. And they will mention it by the time we ask them that, how many pregnancies have you had before, irrespective of the outcome. So they mentioned that they've had abortions. I had a patient that said, I can't even remember the number.
Wow.
So it can be that bad.
Wow.
It does happen.
Are there risks for teen girls, doing this voluntary abortion? Any implication of such decision at the teenage level, as a teenager? They are still young.
Yes.
So to me, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I just believe they are still very, very fragile and they should not be involved in things like that. So aborting, the process of going through the abortion, are there any risks?
Yes, there are, and a lot of them.
For
any
girls,
woman, there are risks. Abortions come with risk, different kind of consequences.
Okay, for even grown-up women.
Even grown-ups, because it's a procedure. It's like you are doing something that is against the normal thing. You understand? The obtainable in the body to the body. Okay. So there are consequences. Even for the drugs we use normally to treat illnesses, they have their side effects. So there is risk for any group of women doing abortion. But for the teens, the complications are usually more serious because of their age. Their bodies are not as matured as that of adults, and so the complications usually get worse in them when they happen. So that's
Okay.
it.
Some of the complications, are there something they can
Yes,
work on later?
it all depends on the level, because the consequences can be from mild to severe.
Wow.
So the very lucky ones of them might just maybe, some of them might even do it and they will not have any consequence. For those, it's very difficult for you to tell them not to do it again, because they don't see any big deal in it. They just do it and they come out of it without stress. While some might never recover from it. You have complications ranging from excessive bleeding to post-abortal sepsis, that's infection, to infertility, and even death. It happens, it does happen a lot. So depends on what, maybe the procedure. Abortion, they can either use pills or do a surgical procedure to get rid of the unwanted baby. So there are so many consequences to it. And actually, the consequences of abortion are not just the physical or the medical ones alone, like I mentioned. Like, for instance, now the physical ones are just common because they are youth. They don't want people to know about what they've done. They most likely would not go through the proper routes. They most probably will not patronize a specialist or somebody that is skilled. So they will do it. The term we use for that is unsafe abortion. You probably will just get the pills and take it at home, or go for one quack that will do it underground for them. So that's why the medical complications are commoner with them. But even aside the medical complications, they are prone to some other complications too, like the emotional aspect of it. It's not something you can brag about when you do, even if the child is so wayward that everybody knows that's the kind of life she lives. You can't just be boastful of the number of abortions you've done, or be telling people that, oh, I did this, these are my methods. You don't want to be a pro in that kind of a thing. So they also have times that they reflect on what they've done. And maybe for instance, somebody that is a Christian already knows that committing abortion is a sin, that she has just committed murder. So that guilt lives with them forever, so to say. And even if every other thing goes on right with them, and they don't really have any negative effects to hold on to, the guilt will constantly be there. And for that, they might not really be able to might not have a full expression of their happiness and joy at all times. So they can be depressed from that. And if peradventure there are physical complications that they have to cope with for maybe a period or all the days of their lives, that will continue to also haunt them. For instance, maybe somebody that has womb damaged and is infertile. You don't have, as in, no amount of preaching or love the spouse even shows to her can make her feel good, because she already knows she's the cause of the problem she's having in her home. Or it might not even be that. It might be a teen girl that got pregnant, and because of that, even before she did her abortion, she had to drop out of school before she gets herself sorted out. Her mates have already left her behind, and she's feeling, oh, if I've not done this, a lot of things actually come around this abortion that could affect their mental state and also their self-esteem and so many other things. And if they are not able to manage it, where they don't have a good social support and able to go back into the community well-grounded, depression might be one of the things they suffer from.
Oh my goodness. So it is safe to say that abortion is not really good for teen girls.
Not even for anybody. Yeah, not for anybody, because we have different options to pick from. There are choices. So we always say that even for a married woman, if you know you do not want pregnancy, you do family planning. There are contraceptive methods everywhere. So even a married woman does not have a reason to do an abortion, not to talk of a girl that still has her whole future ahead of her. So that shouldn't even be something they would venture it. So it doesn't have any advantage. It doesn't.